Good evening. Tonight you are going to be listening to Lesson 1-2, Comparing and Ordering Whole Numbers.
There's a couple things that you need to remember when you compare and order whole numbers. Those things are these three symbols. Our first symbol is our greater than symbol, our less than symbol, and then lastly our equal to symbol. When you compare and order whole numbers, the first thing you need to do is you need to line up those numbers on top of each other. So I make sure that the ones place value is on top of each other and the tens, the hundreds, and so forth. An easy way to remember that is to make sure that the commas all line up on top of each other. So here I'm comparing my two numbers. What I need to do is always start from the left to compare. So I compare my 5 and a 5. 5 is equal to 5, so I move on farther to the right. 4 and 4 are equal. Here's my first place value in the thousands that I find a difference. 5 is greater than 0, so therefore 545,524 is greater than 540,828.
Okay, again, our next example, we have 7,843 and 7,642. We have placed them on top of each other. And I'm going to start from the left and work my way to the right. First column. Okay, 7 and 7 are equal. The next two digits are 8 and 6. This is where I find my first difference again. Sorry for the lines there. 8 is larger than 6. Therefore, 7,843 is larger than 7,642.
You can compare any numbers no matter how big or how small. This number is way into the millions place value. What I need to do is the same thing, is I need to line up those numbers on top of each other. I always start from the left. 2 is equal to 2. 8 is equal to 8. 5 and 8 is where I see my first difference. 8 is greater than 5. Therefore, 2,882,201 is greater than 2,858,534. How I would read this, though, I read left to right, just like we read left to right when we're reading words in a book. I would read it as 2,858,534 is less than 2,882,201.
Okay, now we have three numbers that we are going to list from greatest to least. Remember to always read the directions so that you are listing the numbers according to what they're asking. So again, we're going to start from left and move to the right. Our first set of numbers, are sixes, all equal. Next column are all fives. The next column I have a 0 and 2 8s. Excuse me, which tells me I'm going to list this one as my number 1 so I can keep them in order. And now I need to compare the last two set of numbers because the 0 is smaller than the 2 8s, and I'm going to go to the next digits, 4 and 0. Now I know that this is the next smallest, and this would be my largest.
Yep, and
Now,
don't forget, Miss Lamari, the directions said from greatest to least.
Right.
That's what she reminded you of. You always have to go back and look.
So, my largest number, therefore, is 65,841. My next largest number is 65,801. And my last and smallest number is 65,081.
All right, these directions are different. Make sure you always read them. This is from least to greatest. I have my three numbers. I've already put them on top of one another. I need to start from my left. Fives are all equal. 2, 3, and a 2. Right away, I know 3 is greater than both 2's. What I do instead of numbering them like Mrs. Amori is I would put a G here to know that that's my greatest. So either way would work. If you want to number them or you want to label them, however works for you would be fine. So I know that this number right here is my greatest number. Now I'm going to compare my top and my bottom numbers. 0 and 1. 1, right there, is greater than 0. Therefore, this one would probably be my middle number. I might label it with an M, and this one would be my least. I look back up here at my directions. It says from least to greatest. So my least number, the number in the middle, and then my greatest. What I want you to do is I want you to take out your notebooks, open up to your next blank page. Do not write on the back of lesson 1-1, please. Open up to a new page. Don't open up to the middle of your notebook. Open up to the next page directly after 1-1. There's a couple notes that we want to write down. We're going to make our 2-column notes again. I'm going to write down our 3 symbols. And don't forget, if we talk too fast through the notes, that you can always pause it and write down and then unpause and continue. So our 3 symbols that we have here, our first one is our greater than symbol. So you're going to write down greater than. Our next one is our less than symbol. Now, one thing that I always look at with the less than symbol, I think that this looks to me like an uppercase L. That's how I remember that that one is the less than symbol. And of course, our last one is fairly easy. That's our equal to symbol. At the bottom, we have one last note that we want you to write down. Mrs. Amori is going to read it to you. Make sure you copy it so you have it for your work tomorrow.
Remember, excuse me, comparing numbers, always start at the left and move to the right.
Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.